Ooh. Hello. How we doing? How is things going? Nah, whatever. Hello Ish, hello Chris if you're still here. And hello Harry. How you doing? How has your guys' week been? Hello Soup User. Yeah. Hello Starman, how you doing? That memory was ugly bling. Indeed it was. Indeed it was. When I first saw the Trident Z Royal, I wasn't exactly interested in it per se. Um and yeah, I can't say that I am now that I have some. Hello Sideways, how you doing? Um oh, huh. I changed the Twitch um message. Not that anyone follows me on Twitch, but I changed the Twitch message because I'm gonna be doing some benchmarks, which will include some benchmarks for streaming. Yeah. Hello Ibrahim, how you doing? It's been good so far, thanks. How's your been? Not too bad. Um, had some deliveries, had some uh benchmarks going on. So yeah, cool stuff. Um, just updating the Twitch description. 1080p and stream looks good and clear, Andy. Nice, awesome. That's good. I'll leave that up for later. Cool. I'm good. Had a big needle in the spine yesterday. Now pain free for the moment. One, two, awesome, nice one. I'm glad that you got some level of help. I've kind of been doing mixed for pain this week. It's been okay, but hello Mac. What do you mean for fun? Ow. Speaking of pain, hello. So yeah, this week I can't really talk about much because I'm under NDA. Oh yes, he just had a needle in the spine for fun. No. That's upstairs. You hype for Zen 2? Yes, but I'm under NDA, so I can't talk about it. It does indeed. I'm very excited to be able to talk about it when I can, but yeah. But yeah, what are you guys what are you guys most looking forward to with it? Hello Johnny, how you doing? Um Abraham is referencing when was it EA that went to court and said loot boxes aren't gambling, they're just surprise mechanics, which is just oh oh Jesus. Yeah. You're mostly hyped for the APUs. So Joe can tell me to shut up if I'm breaking NDA, but this is only from the press day that he told me I could tell everyone about. The new chips are not like 7 nanometer Ryzen. They're like the new APUs are what do you call it? They're 2nd-gen Ryzen architecture with 3rd-gen Ryzen names. Was that a UK parliamentary hearing ethics commission? I think that's the one. Yeah, that was funny. I was the lens that they will go through to protect their sources of income is quite unbelievable. I know that, but still want the Zen Plus architecture and IPUs. Yeah, fair play, fair play. How come you're interested in the APUs specifically? SFF PC builder? Okay, fair play. Very true, Mac. Very true. Very true indeed. Oh, and yes, Starman. Nice one. Fair play. I can't say that that would be the most enjoyable thing, but I'm sure that the release from Pain would definitely be pretty sweet. So, fair play. And no GPU means smaller potential size for the PC. Fair play. What do you think of ASRock's Desk Mini GTX PCs? Because I've got the standard Desk Mini upstairs, the 310, which is the Intel one, and it's pretty nice, pretty cool. But obviously the GTX one having discrete graphics built in, and potentially pretty powerful discrete graphics as well is pretty nice. Yeah. I love the concept, but MXM form factor GPUs are expensive. True, very true. And Nvidia is trying to kill MXM, so yeah. A shame, certainly. I don't think you can get RTX cards in MXM modules, so yeah. Do you have a Discord? Yes, it should be linked in the description. You can check it out. I do indeed. So, besides me, anyone else played with any interesting tech this week? Anyone else just met with the computer industry, even though Zen is about to come out and Intel will have to respond shortly? Yes, actually, I saw a post on Reddit. I think it was AMD subreddit of all the places, with a like internal letter from Intel, like an internal letter like at Intel, that was explaining the benefits of Intel over AMD, even when they don't win on price or performance, which is quite interesting. I think in the grand scheme of things, from the benchmarks that AMD has published publicly, the race looks to be set for a very interesting next few months. I don't think that Intel has anything coming out in the next few months. That I'm not under NDA on. I don't know. I'm speculating just as much as you are. But yeah, very, very interesting kind of market now. And if AMD's public benchmarks are true, then it'll be very, very interesting to see AMD in a like advantageous position, not just on the like price side. VESA 2.0 is finally here, and you can finally buy that 16K monitor. You can, or DisplayPort 2.0, which is very interesting. Crazy that it can do that much data throughput. That's pretty sweet. But yeah. Mohammed, I have a chance to choose between a Lenovo Legion Y530 or an MSI GF63, both i7s and 1050 Ti's. Please help me, which one should you take? Well, I don't actually have experience with any Lenovo Legion laptops, and I don't have any experience with the MSI's GF line. In fact, I didn't know that was a line they did, but generally speaking, my experience with MSI has been pretty positive. They generally do a pretty good job. So I don't have experience with technically either of the laptops you're asking for. Probably the MSI one, but I can't really give you a specific recommendation. Royce watching from Japan. Hello. Got a dilemma on what would be a good upgrade, GPU to upgrade from the 1060. Got a 9700K with upcoming release of Navi RTX Supers. What would be your take on this? Well, on the Navi side, I'm under NDA. Can't talk about it. RTX Supers, I have no idea. In fact, I literally have zero idea at all. So can't really tell you. Generally speaking, we're gonna have to wait and see performance numbers anyway. It depends how long you're willing to wait. What resolution are you playing at? Also, is ray tracing really worth it? In my personal experience, and I have every RTX card actually, no. I wouldn't turn it on even if I had the ability to. So personally, no. For some people and some things, sure, could be, but nah. So Intel decided not to compete at price, even though they could afford to undercut AMD into oblivion. So the thing that Intel's own like internal document was talking about is that because AMD uses TSMC, it actually costs AMD less to be at the forefront of technology, whereas Intel has to develop literally everything from start to finish on their own and spend all of that money, whereas AMD can, for example, let someone like Samsung or Qualcomm go to TSMC and develop the 7nm process, so that then when AMD comes to TSMC and says, hey, look, we want to do like high performance compute on that 7nm process that you've just developed, can we make it happen? And TSMC's like, sure, we already know how to do it. So yeah, very, very interesting. I'll be interesting to see it will be interesting to see if Intel follows AMD in kind of getting rid of the monolithic approach, and going with the more like core chiplet style design. I know that they're planning on doing that for some like higher core counts and stuff, but it will be interesting to see. AMD might have even more powerful chip up its sleeve. An unknown 16-core 32 thread has appeared on Geekbench. The kicker is it's running all-core 5.2 gigahertz. Was that not just one of the overclock benchmark results that they did the world record on? What are your thoughts on the Raspberry Pi and SBCs in general? So the new Raspberry Pi is awesome. I have, you won't be able to see it, but I have a box of like 5 Raspberry Pis there, and the new one that can power 2 4K 60Hz displays, probably badly, but it can, is very impressive and very cool to see. Yeah, I generally really like them. I use them more as development boards, more like Arduinos, and sometimes that I happen to use as sort of, oh, I need a computer connected to this thing and be able to run a Linux terminal from it. I can do that. For example, the smart mirror that I built that I still haven't moved to where I want it to be, that has a Raspberry Pi 3 in the back, that runs all of the display, all of the software, all of the web hosting type thing that lets me control it from my phone. So yeah, really very useful, very cool things, and incredibly cheap. And a really quite impressive amount of computational power for something so cheap as well. Probably just no C. Yes, Ish, I would probably agree with you. Zaki, sorry I didn't answer your question before you deleted it, but for all intents and purposes, I don't have experience with it, but generally, yeah, it should be fine. Hello S7, how you doing? Royce, thanks the idea, man. We'll wait for the performance benchmarks and Avi RTX Supers. Thing is currently here in Japan, the Palette RTX 2070 Dual V2 sells for $500. Kind of tempting to impulse buy. Fair play. I don't know off the top of my head what different cards sell for, especially in other countries. So fair play if it seems like a good value for you, then the 2070 is certainly not a bad card. So yeah, up to you. What's the best GPU? $230. As I said, I don't really know pricing off the top of my head. You were asking about the 1660. Seems like a pretty good shout, but more importantly, I would probably see if you can get an RX 580 for that sort of price point, and you get more performance. So yeah, and it's probably about the same sort of price. Hello, Albal. How you doing? Setting up your Raspberry Pi 4 now. Nice. Let me know what it's like. I'll be interested. I've got 2 3s and then like 4. Well, I've given away 2 of them, but multiple B pluses. So do use them every now and again. I think the first thing that I ever wanted to do with it is run I wrote an Android app and a Python program to fly a quadcopter, which was fun. We burned the motors and the ESCs pretty quickly, and then we never finished the project. But I found out how to do both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity and data transfer, so that's cool. Through an Android app and receive it in Python. Nice. Tank and Chickens, Nottingham-ish. Or East Midlands, probably best. Oh, so we got a sponsored video on Saturday from Pulseway. If you haven't heard of them, you probably haven't watched Linus's videos. But the video on Tuesday, I'm really like super hyped for. It's the actually that one down there. It's a Threadripper Hackintosh. I spent a weekend with my friend who absolutely loves Macs, setting it up, and we've actually so we've done the video that's coming out as a full guide, right? In the sort of manual process. I've actually written a C# front end that runs all of the tools that you need to use, including moving all of the files around. with basically like 3 clicks. I'm still finishing it up, but it's on GitHub, and it's an open source tool that you can go and tinker with my absolutely terrible code. I know, I'm sorry, if you so choose. But yeah, so if you're interested in making Hackintoshes, I hope that I have made it easier for you. It's already not the hardest process in the world. Even with my version of the tools, it still does require more thought than installing Windows, but it's not all that complicated, and especially with like my tool kind of thing, or my tool that runs other people's tools, specifically Corp Newts from the Discord. It is fairly self-explanatory. Dills plays, when I try to record Fortnite with Streamlabs, I get 200 FPS in game, but it feels so laggy and choppy when I'm playing. Any ideas why? So the first thing that I would do is get either Fraps or OCAT or some level of like performance benchmarking tool, specifically one that can output the frame times, and then take a look at open the frame times data and plot a graph in Excel using it. And if you see significant spikes, you know that there is like, that's what makes it feel slow and choppy to you. If that's the case, then I would try tweaking your encoder settings. You can try using your graphics card's encoder instead. So if you've got an AMD, if you have an AMD GPU, it's called VCE. If it's an NVIDIA GPU, it's NVENC. But yeah. To answer the questions in Twitch chat here, Mac and Ish, there's actually a tool written by Corp Newt who's in the Discord called GIB macOS. It's a Windows tool, or it's a it's a batch file that runs a Python script that downloads the latest copy of macOS without any issue. The hardest part was ensuring drivers and compatible hardware unless you VM it. So no, not really. The drivers are you can essentially replace that word with kexts or kernel extensions. So that is definitely something you need to be careful about, and something that my tool can't really help you. But yeah, like compatible hardware, as long as you have the right config.plist file, which is something I go into in the video, it basically just straight up works with very little problems. I had no stability issues. It doesn't seem to matter what board, like motherboard, you use anymore. So yeah, very interesting. Hello Riley, how you doing, man? A, glad you're safe. B, congrats on your vacation. I hope you enjoy your time there. And yeah, how you doing? You have Ryzen 5 2600 and GTX 1070, and you're using NVENC. So the second thing that I would ask is what bitrate are you recording at, or what preset are you recording at? And can you try lowering that preset and seeing if it still feels awful, or and then kind of go from there. You decided to get the 2700X instead of the 2600. Okay, fair play. That's a good shout. It's a good chip. Thoughts on the new Ryzen CPUs? I'm under NDA and can't talk about it. I can talk to you not next Thursday, but Thursday after that. Really liking the B450 Steel Legend, by the way. First foray into the 400 series. Nice. It's a good board. I've got one down there somewhere. Oh, you sneaky beaver. Indeed. I considered putting macOS on my Dell XPS 13, but decided against it because it seemed like too much hassle for essentially very little return. Yes, pretty much. It's not something that I'm using personally. I'm still on Windows. Gonna be staying on Windows. But yeah. If you really like macOS, it's definitely an option. And it genuinely wasn't all that hard. Congratulations, Riley. That is a nice one. I think you should be happy or impressed. By the way, if you can, would totally recommend getting used GPUs, especially in the UK. CX is so good. Got my GTX 1070 for 275 along with the rest of my system. Nice, fair play. That would be different back in the XP days. True. But it is not XP days. Ooh, it is toasty in here. Oh. What's with this RTX Nvidia cards are failing? I haven't seen that since the launch, so I'm not sure. Does anyone have any like updated information on that or not? Gaming on macOS and Linux. Oh yeah, 32-bit support got removed in Ubuntu 2. Everyone who plays Duke Nukem on Linux is really annoyed. Nice. That's a shame. Just did an internet test, 749 download and 241 upload. If that's in megabits, then yes, that is very good. And many people, including myself, would be envious of such a connection. But yeah, nice. What you Oh, for later. Okay. Andy, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. Thanks, son, who's older than me. 10 megabits. Then yes, that's a very good connection. They were going to depreciate the libraries, but they've changed the tune and won't do it for at least a year. Not chatting seriously with Valve, etc. Fair play. Fair play. RTX 2080 Gaming X Trio is still running strong, 1440p. And you've had the card since November. December. I read Riley's message while I was finishing reading yours. Nice one. Fair play. Yeah, I haven't heard mass problems with them, so I wouldn't be worried about it. You're only 23, man, 24 November. That means you're about a year and a bit older than me. But not by much. So fair. Yesterday, the 1440p 140Hz Asus monitor was £250. Did you see? I didn't. That sounds like a very good deal. Yeah. Ain't got the monies for a decent 1440p monitor, sadly. Fair play, fair play. Deliz, I'm gonna keep messing up your name. What website was that on? I assume Amazon, but what was the deal? Like, was it just a pricing error? Because if so, they don't often honor those, which is a shame. Amazon, yeah, fair play. Thoughts on the new COD? I mean, so I know that there are a lot of people that like it quite a lot. I fell out of love with COD probably, I don't know, when was the last COD I bought? Modern Warfare 3. So yeah, it's been a while, but it definitely does look cool. I'll really kind of wait and see until it's out before I'll consider getting it personally. The game that I am very excited for is that's coming out sort of early next year, mid next year, is Cyberpunk. I know that a lot of people are, but it's like super interesting. Yeah. People are saying that this new COD is more like Rainbow Six Siege. Okay, well then that definitely makes me slightly more interested. I mean, I do still like Siege, so I don't know that I really need another Siege, but still. Borderlands 3 will be life. True if it wasn't on Epic Game Store. Speaking of UPSs, I need to get one. Don't know why I didn't. We haven't had a power cut in ages, and we never have power surges either. Well, that's probably why you haven't got one. But yeah, I'm in fair play. That's not something that we really have an issue with here, so yeah. The rendering tech in the new COD looks to be very impressive. Digital Foundry has a video on it. Nice. Halo Infinite for me. I'll definitely be interested to see that on PC and play those on PC. Definitely. It's kind of funny because we're now at the point where there's just so much rehashing of content, like COD and Halo, and the number of games that are getting like reworks or like remastered versions and stuff is really kind of surprising. I'm not saying that it's the worst thing in the world, but yeah. Are you saying that I would have been 6 when COD came out? Because that doesn't math good. Hello Morpheus. Recently built a PC and when plugging in my HD audio cable and the motherboard would not fully go in, stopping halfway. My mic audio is so low, do you know, do you recommend forcing it in? I don't want damage. So, did you put it in the right way round? Because there is actually two, there's one pin on one side that's missing and one that's blocked out. So yeah. Then in that case, I'm not sure. It does take a reasonable amount of force to, but it shouldn't be like you're flexing the motherboard or gonna break the connector off. Like it yeah, it's not a lot of force that should be required as long as it's the right way around. It could just be did you buy a relatively cheap case by any chance? And also, have you tried plugging your microphone into the into your motherboard rather than into the front panel case connectors just to test and see if it's fine? Because then if it's not fine, then you know that it's not a problem with the front audio. HD audio shouldn't take much force, not like a 24 pin or anything. True, but I've experienced quite the range of both motherboards and cases, and it shouldn't, but it can. So yeah, fair play about it was more kind of, I don't know, what you call it, using it as an example. There's no hooks or extra catches, so it should be the same force as front panel headers, etc. Yes, I mean, so it's the same sort of force as a like internal USB 2 header. The only difference is that, or the only thing that makes it more forceful than, say, your front panel, like you know, button connectors, power switch, hard drive activity LED, that kind of thing, um, is that it's because it's such a large block of connectors, and then you add the resistance from the clips inside the housing on all of the pins, it can be a bit of a force. And then also nowadays, a lot of motherboards have little houses on the board that then the connector sits into with the pins inside the house, kind of thing. So that can also add resistance. But yeah, yeah, ish. In 2007, I was, I don't know, like 10 or 11, maybe even 12. I can't remember. I can't do math either. It's fine. Hello, Simon. Nice. um, yeah, I had the same problem with USB 3 connectors. Really hate them. So easy to bend and break. Yes, very true. Uh, okay, I haven't tried plugging my mic into motherboard. Really appreciate the help. No worries. Also, nice one, Simon. Sounds like a good setup. Does it annoy you when other YouTubers leak their results ahead of NDA lifting? So kind of. Um, the yes and no, right? Because on one hand, yes, it's annoying because it really takes the punch out of, my video, kind of thing. And a lot of people will see that article or that video or whatever else and then not bother watching the rest of the content. Whereas when an NDA lifts a big one like a CPU or a GPU launch, um, and all of the content goes up all at the same time, people are generally more likely to sit and watch a couple of them rather than just that one, and then they go, oh, well, I already know everything I need to know about this thing, I don't need to watch these other 5 videos. And while I do try and test things a little bit differently, or effectively have a bit of a USP to why you would watch my video and Linus's or Gamers Nexus or whoever else, right? Um, it's it does still kind of pull that punch a bit. But at the same time, I also understand why they would do it. If they do get their hands on samples from someone who is uh, not under NDA, right? Like if they get it from a distributor or whoever else, and then it kind of trickles down so that they can then publish without NDA. They've not necessarily signed the main company's NDA. Then I totally understand why they've done it. I actually spoke to someone who wrote the article on BitTech, Dave, for I think it was the 8700K CPU launch, that launched, that they published their review like a week before everyone else did, and it ruined everyone else's coverage. So I understand it's a bit annoying, but I'm not like horrendously offended, right? Johnny, are you on Instagram? Technically, yes, but I don't use it. It's not a platform that I use myself, and so it's not a platform that I post to basically ever. And so, if you really want to follow me on social, then I'm afraid Twitter is really the only one that I actually post to on any regular basis. Current monitor is the G2590PX. Nice. I mean, it's certainly a good monitor. Obviously 1080p rather than. Wait, is the I can't remember if the CRQ is or whatever the MSI one. I can't remember which one is the 1440p 144s. But yeah. Simon, I'm not quite sure what you're asking there. The VI panel in my experience was fine. I know that some people have problems with it. And some people notice more things than others. Not me. So yeah. Ow. Ow. Ugh. So yeah. Very true. He was in hospital last couple of days. Something calcium level spiked. And is having blood transfusions and stuff. But otherwise, he's pretty much back on his feet. He's in quite a lot of pain, which he's trying to deal with. But yeah, he's not horrendous. Hello, Wes. How you doing? Are you two gonna go on an epic bucket list type adventure? Um, I, I'm not sure. Uh, I think the biggest problem is that he is not um, because he has chemo to try and manage it. Um, he's not in a position to do a lot of the things that we would want to do. He's also not very strong physically. He's lost most of his muscle mass already. So yeah, um, definitely sucks. Uh, am I dying? Only mentally. Physically, it's just a lot of pain. But no, my friend is. Quite a rare form of cancer, and he's the same age as me. Whereas you're very athletic and don't have crippling bouts of pain and nausea, etc. True, very true. Yeah, I don't have any of that. Um, yeah. I found that I have quite the problem with when I'm active for a sustained amount of time, like say working on a friend's car every night for a week, only for a couple of hours per night, but the activity alone was enough to then cause me to be in like anywhere between sort of 6 out of 10 to 9, 10 out of 10 pain every night for a week and a half, and I had to take opioid painkillers every night to just not be literally lying on that blanket screaming. And I've been relatively active over the last week or so again, just like trying to keep fit, going for walks and stuff. And I cannot, like, every night this week has been insatiable pain. So fun times. Harry, I do wish that, but it is it's now incurable. And it is only the only treatment options that he has are to maintain or improve quality of life, rather than miraculously get rid of it, sadly. And the Twitch chat was quite right. Technically, we're all dying. I guess some of us are just less good at staying alive. Some of us are just better pushing it off until later. Very true. Yes, essentially ish. And about no, it's a rare type of cancer that hides in muscle cells and spread to. It actually started in his his testicle, and to which he had removed, and then spread to his gut, which he had radio for and chemo for, and we thought it'd gone, but spread to his bones, and now his bones are quite brittle. He actually did a skydive in Australia with a broken cancerous rib, and didn't know it as well. So, GG him. But at least AMD is doing well. Very true indeed. Yeah, I wish I could talk about it. I can't, I'm afraid. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to talk about it. So yeah, I think you guys will be too. Oh, I don't have it down here. It's still upstairs. I tried a razor blade this week, and no, not like a shaver, but like the laptop. That video will be up on the 10th. It currently looks like, from looking at my schedule. Although that might change because I realized that I've actually got a few more videos than I thought that I wanted to make. But yeah, I tried the Razer Blade 15 advanced model with an RTX 2070, and I will save most of my rant for the review, or more specifically for the live chat the day after the video goes out. But all I can say is that it screams form over function in almost every regard. So there's that. Never really thought they were worth the money though. Do you have a favorite game? It bounces around between Rainbow Six Siege, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Apex Legends, Rocket League, and a few others. Considering Razer are bringing out the Razer Toaster, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a Razer Blade Razor as well. True, I mean, I wouldn't mind one. As long as it's a review sample. Or so just start getting sponsored by Dollar Shave Club or something, and then I just get free razors. It wouldn't surprise me though. Apple are beginning to see the writing on the wall with the launch of the Nvidia Studio laptops. That will certainly be interesting. I want to try out the Nvidia Creator driver and see what the deal is with that. I want to do a video on it, but I'm also looking at my schedule booked for the next month with stuff that I already have here. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. See what I can do. Anyone played Rage 2? I haven't. What do you think of it? With the mobile RTX 2070 more powerful than the 2080 Max Q, why do you think anyone would go for the latter? Thin and light can't be a good enough reason, I think. So yeah, I mean, I would. So my experience with laptop GPUs is that they're incredibly configurable, right? So you can have a 2080 Max Q that is the same speed as an RTX 2060 in the same laptop chassis. And I've actually had experience with laptops that had RTX 2060s that were slower than 2070 or 2080 variants. I would also mention that the Razer laptop has an RTX 2070 Max Q in it, and it's only about 5 or 10 FPS faster in games than, at 1080p mind you, than the Acer Triton 500, which was an RTX 2060, and so significantly cheaper. But the same sort of thickness, the same sort of overall size, and so, as I mentioned in that video, I really don't understand why you would get that. What did you think about Fortnite and Apex? So Fortnite is not a game I play personally, besides for benchmarking. It's fine. I understand that a lot of people like it. It's not my personal style. I guess a little bit too cartoony, I guess. And the whole building mechanic was something that I never really got a hang of. And so it's not overly enjoyable for me to play if you you're just, well, being a default skin noob. Apex, on the other hand, is something that I very much enjoy, and I'm not like horrendous at. I'm certainly not good, but because I'm not horrendous at it, it's I just read Ish's joke. That one. Yeah, it's quite fun, very enjoyable. Ish, it lives on forever on stream. It's here now. Which Ryzen 3rd Gen do you recommend for a gaming YouTuber? So again, I'm under NDA, so I can't really tell you, but from the public benchmarks, the 12 core seems like a very good shout. It's okay, Ish. It's fun. And sorry, I'm reading Ish's jokes on Twitch chat as well with USB 4. So yes, I'm excited for that. Fuck, I can't talk about that. We'll talk about some more stuff in a few streams time. But yeah, I'm surprised that it's not just called USB 3.2.2.2 because it basically is at this point. Like, they set themselves up for such a simple naming system that USB 3, or 3.0, was 5 gig, USB 3.1 was 10 gig, and the USB 3.2 or USB 4 can be the Thunderbolt infused USB, right? Fine. Except instead they decided to go USB 3, then USB 3.1, but then we'll also actually rename USB 3 to USB 3.1 Gen 1, and then Gen 2, and then we'll do a new one that's even faster, that's like called USB 3.2 Gen 2. Who knows? I'd anticipate Andy picking the 12 or 16 core since he streams to both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. True. What am I using? So I'm using 12% of my CPU to stream here. I use a service to stream to Twitch and YouTube, so it's not two separate streams. It's one stream that goes to a service that then splits it. So do bear that in mind. But The stream as it presently is apparently using about 13% of my CPU, which is a Ryzen 2700. So take that how you will. Effectively, it's using about a core worth. Is it load leveled or is it just single core? Let's have a look. No, it's just leveled across all cores. So each core is doing like 5% work. Yeah, that's fine. For like gaming YouTubers, especially if you're rendering stuff, then obviously the more cores the better generally. Depends what you're using. If you're using Premiere, then it can be a little bit more hamstrung, but yeah. Johnny, sweet-ish, you're right. I'm into a game called Super Anime Battle Royale, which is weird because I never thought I'd like Battle Royale games. Fair play. Super Animal Royale, sorry. Don't know why I read the word anime instead. I'm a weeb. No. But nice, fair play. But if you gamed and streamed on a computer, the more oomph might be better than just a face-fed stream thing. Yes, definitely. So obviously, games regularly use, especially the newer ones, can use a pretty significant amount of CPU utilization. So definitely. But yeah, generally speaking, gaming YouTuber 12 or 16 is probably where to go. Nice one, Chris. Have a nice time. I know that I just said that, and so you're not gonna know that I said that because you're watching it muted, but someone can let me know in the chat. What do you think of the Ryzen 2600 with an RTX 2070? Pretty good combination, yeah. And Harry, enjoying the stream. Awesome, thanks, man. About Premiere, Adobe, sorry you crap and optimize your software, goddammit. Yes, please do. Speaking of Premiere, I'm using it as a benchmarking, like as a benchmark. And without obviously talking about results or anything, I can talk about my testing methodology, which is I've got a standardized 10-minute clip that I am rendering. It's the same clip that I render to everywhere. Like render on all the devices. It's rendered from an SSD specifically so that the storage isn't a bottleneck. And the one thing that I'm using here is I'm using CPU only rendering so that I can actually benchmark the CPUs. But I feel a little bit burned inside because no one who's actually going to render videos in the real world would turn off GPU acceleration. Funnily enough, with Premiere, GPU acceleration doesn't seem to do a significant amount better, but yeah. The long and short of it is that I'm testing it more as a benchmark of the CPUs than real world, while still trying to be real world. So trying to strike a balance. Anyway, we got any last minute tech questions, or are we good to go this week? Well, since the chat hasn't updated in a whole 10 seconds, I'm gonna call it a day. I hope you guys all have a great week. I'm gonna be busy, but it's gonna be a thing. Will adding RGB to an electric wheelchair help it speed round roundabouts, and do you need a spoiler? Yes, it will. And of course you do. Anyway, I will catch you guys next week, where I still won't be able to talk about anything. See you guys.